I wasn't supposed to see him that night. The restaurant was dimly lit, tucked into the corner of the city where no one from our neighborhood usually went. My hand was wrapped around the stem of a wine glass. The laughter of the man across from me filling the air. His name was Daniel, not my husband. He leaned in closer, his smile warm, his cologne clinging to me as if it belonged there. And then across the room, I saw him. Michael, my husband of 11 years. His eyes locked on me. Disbelief etched so deep into his face, it felt like the ground split beneath me. The glass slipped from my hand and shattered against the table's edge. Time stopped. I opened my mouth, but no sound came out. Michael didn't yell. He didn't storm over. He just stared quiet, composed, as if every ounce of his soul had been drained out of him. Then he turned, walked out the door, and left me sitting there with my skin burning and my stomach hollowing into nothing. That was the moment everything began to unravel. The night after, when I got home, our house was too quiet. Normally, Michael left a light on in the living room for me if I came home late. That night it was dark. I found him sitting in the kitchen, elbows on the table, his phone in his hand. He didn't look up when I entered. "Michael," I whispered, "please let me explain." His laugh was bitter, hollow. "Explain what?" That I walked into a restaurant and saw my wife holding another man's hand across the table. "What part of that needs explaining, Claire?" My chest caved in. It's not what it looked like." He finally looked at me then, his eyes sharp and raw. "Do you really think I'm that stupid?" I felt the tears burning, but I swallowed them. He had always been calm in arguments, rational. I thought maybe if I begged, if I confessed a piece of the truth, I could fix it. "I was confused," I said, my voice trembling. He's just a friend." Michael slammed his hand against the table, making me jump. His voice rose, not in anger, but in heartbreak. "I watched you, Claire. Do you even realize what you looked like? The way you leaned in, the way you smiled at him. That wasn't friendship. That was us. That was the way you used to look at me." His words cut deeper than any scream could have. Distance. For days, he barely spoke to me. He left early for work, came home late, and when he was home, he busied himself with chores that didn't need doing. He slept in the guest room. I tried everything. Cooking his favorite meals, leaving notes, even attempting to reach for his hand when he walked by. But every time he pulled away, like my touch burned him. One night I broke down completely. "I made a mistake," I whispered through sobs, blocking his way in the hallway. "Michael, please don't throw everything away because of one mistake." His eyes flickered with something sharp. "One mistake, Claire? Do you even hear yourself? Do you think what I saw was a mistake? Do you think going behind my back, meeting another man, letting him touch you, that's a mistake?" "I didn't sleep with him," I blurted. Michael laughed bitterly, shaking his head. "That doesn't matter. You gave him the part of you that was mine. And now, I don't even recognize you." The breaking point. Weeks passed. The silence between us grew unbearable. Every moment was thick with tension, with unsaid words. Then one Saturday morning, Michael dropped a bomb. I talked to a lawyer. The coffee cup in my hand slipped, spilling across the counter. A lawyer. "Michael, you can't mean I can't do this anymore," he said quietly, almost too calmly. "I can't live in a marriage where every time I close my eyes I see my wife with someone else. Where I have to wonder what else she's hiding. Where love feels like a lie." I shook my head violently. "No, Michael, please. You don't understand. I wasn't trying to leave you. I felt invisible. You were always working, always tired. And Daniel, he just listened." The look in his eyes then was worse than anger. It was pity. "So you found someone to fill the silence instead of talking to me?" His voice cracked. "Do you realize how small that makes me feel? That I wasn't even worth a conversation." I reached for him, but he stepped back. "Michael, don't do this. I love you." His jaw clenched, his voice low. "You don't destroy the people you love." Letter a week later. I found a letter on the kitchen table when I came home from work. His handwriting was neat, deliberate, the kind of writing he used when he wanted his words to stick. "Claire, I don't hate you. God, I wish I could, because it would make this easier. But the truth is, I still love you, and that's what makes this unbearable. I can't spend my life wondering why I wasn't enough for you, why you needed someone else to feel alive. I gave you every part of me. And maybe that was my mistake, thinking that if I loved you hard enough, it would be enough to keep you here. But last week when I saw you with him, something inside me broke. Not just my trust, something deeper, something I don't think can ever heal. I'll always wish things were different, but I can't keep bleeding for someone who handed my heart to another man. Michael, I sank to the floor, the paper trembling in my hands, the weight of his words crushing me, the aftermath. The divorce was quick, clinical. Michael didn't fight over the house or the money. He didn't yell in court. He just signed the papers, quiet and steady, as if I no longer had any power to touch him. The night after everything was finalized, I sat alone in what used to be our bedroom, staring at the empty side of the bed. For the first time, I realized the finality of it all. I had thought maybe he'd calm down. Maybe with time he'd forgive me. But he hadn't just walked away from the marriage. He had walked away from me. And the worst part? I couldn't blame him. The last encounter. Months later, I ran into him by chance at a grocery store. He looked different, lighter somehow, as if he'd shed the weight of me. "Michael," I breathed. He gave me a polite nod, the kind you give to a stranger. "Claire, I wanted to say something, anything to make him see me again. I miss you." He studied me for a moment. Then his gaze softened, almost sadly. "I don't—" And with that, he walked away, leaving me standing in the aisle with my chest caving in, and my world collapsing all over again. Reflection. That was the moment I knew what true destruction felt like. Not the yelling, not the cold nights, not even the divorce. It was seeing him look at me like I was just another face in the crowd. It was realizing that I had taken a man who loved me with everything he had, flaws and all, and I'd broken him so completely that he built a world where I no longer existed. And in the end, that was the price of my betrayal. He didn't scream. He didn't beg. He didn't fight. He just erased me. And that silence was the loudest thing I had ever heard.